Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
The day started off like any other. My mother and I went to go get decorations for Halloween, and I went to get a bucket. Yeah, I could have used my pallet case, but I like to stand out. So we went to Walmart, and they had your typical Halloween buckets. They were not good enough for me, so I left disappointed, and we went home. On our way home, we had to take a detour. It was a way neither of us had taken before. On our way home, I saw this rundown shop that simply said Halloween store. A sign that read unique treasures inside. I asked my mom if we could go into the store to look for a bucket. She reluctantly agreed. She pulled into the parking lot and we got out of the car. Opening the door to the shop, a soft bell chimed, letting the owner know that a customer had arrived. "Good afternoon. May I help you folks?" Greeted a nice old man sitting on a chair. He stood up, placing the book he was reading on the counter. I chimed in, "I'm looking for a Halloween bucket that looks really cool and scary. Do you have anything like that?" "Well, sonny, I have some buckets over there. Go have yourself a look. See if anything strikes your fancy." I went to look around the store as my mother talked to the nice old man behind the counter. All the buckets he had were so lame. None of them were scary, just orange and black, with cartoon witches, ghosts, and black cats. "These are so boring," I whispered out loud to myself. As I said this, almost like the store wanted me to see it, the door to the shop opened up, and a strong breeze blew through the store, and I noticed there was a curtain in the back of the store. The wind blew it open, and there, in a glass display case, sat a bucket. It was a pumpkin. It had an evil grin on its face, blood coming out of its mouth, and the material it was made of was like nothing I'd ever seen before. It looked like rubber, or even a preserved pumpkin, but not plastic. I went over to the old man and let him know I found something. His face was confused at first. "Well, young man, go and bring it up to the counter," he said pleasantly, like a grandfather would say to his grandkids. "I would, sir, but I can't. It's locked up." I put it into the glass case, and I could see his color drain. "Is everything okay, Jim?" I heard my mom ask the older man, who I now knew as Jim. The old man's demeanor changed. He now seemed scared, but simply said, "Oh, that one? Yes, I forgot. I had that one here. Are you sure you want that one, son? It has a dark history." He said this while trying to smile, but he looked more like a frightened cat, looking for a way out of a dangerous situation. I perked up a bit. "A dark history, you say? What is it? Tell me, please." The old man began to tell a tale of a boy who was trick-or-treating using this bucket he made from a preserved pumpkin shell. "The little boy was so excited for trick-or-treating. He made the bucket by hand, and he was super excited to show it off. It was his prized possession, and he was so proud of the bucket. He went door to door and was praised by many for his costume and bucket. Well, he got to one house no one ever went to, and he knocked on the door. When the woman who lived there said she did not have any candy, little Billy got upset. He went to the store to get some eggs and egged her house. The woman opened the door, and little Billy thought she was going to call the cops. But she invited him in with the promise of treats if he promised to clean her house and never do it again. Well, little Billy agreed and went into the house. He never came home. The cops found little Billy's mutilated body beside the bucket, in the center of a circle, there were crystals in a circle that was bound with blood, and they found little Billy's heart in the bucket, still beating. There was nothing left, and it is said that anybody who uses the bucket will end up just like he did. After Jim finished his tale, he looked at me and asked, "Are you sure you still want the bucket, lad?" "Yes, of course, I do. I don't believe any of that. Monsters, witches, and other things like that are not real," I said excitedly to him, but truth be told, he did spook me a little. I mean, it was a good story. "Well, my boy, if you want it, there's nothing I can do to stop you. After all, it seems the bucket has already chosen you and your family. God help your souls." Jim actually sounded sad. At this point, my mother had enough of his stories and trying to spook us. "We appreciate the ghost story, but please, don't tell my son things like that, Jim. The last thing I want is for him to be having nightmares," she said sternly, but not unkindly. Right, I'm sorry. Let me go get the bucket and bring it up to you folks," he said, slowly walking to the back of the store to retrieve the bucket. Coming back and sitting on the counter, something about him had changed. He seemed more distant, or maybe indifferent would be the word. "That'd be $19.99, please." My mother handed him the money, and he gave her back her change. I grabbed the bucket, and the feel of it was so strange. It was as hard as plastic, but it had texture like a pumpkin. Man, whoever made this bucket did an amazing job on it. "Thank you for coming. I hope you have a great day and a happy Halloween," he said, almost like he was a robot, as he smiled and waved. We left and finally got home. Mom made dinner, and I got ready for trick-or-treat. It was All Hallows Eve, and in a few hours, I'd be out on the hunt for all the candy I could carry. I decided to dress up as one of my favorite horror movie characters, Sam, the demonic pumpkin child from Trick or Treat. I even had a lollipop that was broken, like his iconic weapon in the movie. Mom called me down for dinner. I ate, and we were out the door in 30 minutes. She took me to meet my other friends. After dropping me off, she told me she'd be back in 4 hours to pick me up, and that if I was not there, she'd have my ass. I told her I'd be there, and that I loved her as she drove off. My friends complimented my costume and pumpkin basket. We set off and hit every house in our town, and walked off to the neighboring town that was about a 20-minute walk from ours. It was the rich side of town. They handed out full-size candy bars, and we never missed a chance to get that. Our haul in hand, we headed back to the spot where my mother would be picking me up at. We got there moments after she pulled up, said bye to my friends, and got in the car. My mom asked me if I had fun. "Absolutely, this bucket was a hit. Look at this candy, the bucket's practically overflowing," I excitedly told my mother. "I'm glad, sweetie," she said, smiling at me. "Thank you so much for getting this for me. It really brought my costume together." I leaned over and gave my mom a kiss as we pulled up to a red light. We got home, and I watched a few horror movies and ate the candy my mom allowed me to have. The rest she locked up in the cabinet downstairs. She always did this. She knew I would eat it all if I was allowed. The movie ended, and I looked at the time. 3 a.m. Man, I must have got lost. So I turned on my TV and settled down in bed for the night. I had just closed my eyes, and I heard a loud bang from downstairs. I did not think anything of it and just went to sleep. I was abruptly woken by my mother and father hammering on my door. "Adam, wake your ass up now," I heard my dad yell at me. I got up and walked to the door. What's the problem, guys? I was just sleeping." They stomped into my bedroom, looking around. "Where is it, Adam?" my mother angrily asked me. "Where's what?" I asked groggily and very confused. "The candy bucket. You broke the cabinet last night just for candy? Honestly, Adam, how much of a child are you? You're 15 and you do this?" "Mom, Dad, I didn't do anything. I went to bed after I finished watching my movies last night, and I ate the candy you gave me. I defended myself by showing her my wastebasket with the exact number of wrappers as the pieces of candy she gave me. They still didn't believe me. They searched my room from top to bottom, did not find anything, and when they came up empty-handed, my father just looked at me. "You will pay for that cabinet you broke, and I expect the bucket to be downstairs in the kitchen by the end of the day, or you'll be grounded for a month and not going trick-or-treating next year. You're almost an adult. Act like it." He slammed the door and left me alone, angry and confused. What should have been an otherwise fun day of scary movies and candy turned into a day of sitting in my room angry and upset. What the hell happened to my candy? Did someone break into my house and steal my candy? That has to be it. I went downstairs to tell my parents of my revelation, but when I told them, they said it was ridiculous. Our alarm system never went off, so no one could have come into our house. They told me to go back to my room until I was ready to tell the truth. I did not even come out of my room for meals. I waited for them to go to bed, and I snuck downstairs and made a sandwich. As I was making a sandwich, I heard my father scream. I ran upstairs to check on him. What I found was a horror show. My father had come out of the bathroom, missing half his arm. My father fell, hitting the floor hard. I ran to him. "Oh my God, Dad, what happened?" His eyes were wide with terror. As he pointed to the bathroom, what I saw made me run. I'm not proud of it. I left my dad there, turned to my mom. But before I slammed the door, I looked back. My pumpkin bucket had gotten to my dad. It had bitten a hole into his stomach. It ate him, inside and out. It came out of the top of my father's head. I'm not sure how much of that he felt, but I hoped it wasn't much. I rushed into my parents' bedroom and told my mom what had happened. She did not believe me, and when she opened the door, that thing was just waiting outside the door. It looked at my mom. For something that had no legs or arms, just a pumpkin head with razor-sharp teeth, this thing could move. That was when I remembered the story from the shop owner. I ran to my room, shutting the door and locking it. I was trying to think of a way out of this, but it was too slow. The thing ate through my door. 3 days later, the police showed up at the Sadler residence. After a phone call from one of the neighbors, they reported they had not seen their neighbors exit their home in 3 days, and when they knocked on the front door, a foul smell was coming from it. What police found was a bloodbath. Everyone was dead, and the boy Adam, nothing remained of him but a heart that sat in a pumpkin basket. Tonight's story is written by myself, entitled Trick or Treat, Give Me Something Good to Eat. If you enjoyed this, chances are you'll enjoy the content over on Miss Creepyth's channel. She is a new narrator, and she's absolutely fantastic. Please do check her out, and let her know PA sent you. Also, did you know I have merch? Yeah, I do. Weird, right? But if you'd like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to my merch store and all of my other social media links will be in the description below. Please check them out. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to my lovely Patreons. 242 Reads, Rando Calrissian, Pam, Seraphine the Midnight Bard, Creepy Clown Girl, Mia Mina, Philia Noctis, Hair Raising Narratives, and Spooky Boo Scary Story Time. If you'd like to join these lovely travelers by the light of my fire, you can do so by becoming a Patreon. The support is always appreciated but never expected. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ding that bell if you're new.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping